PCVR owners might not be quite feeling the love as of late, with many developers shifting focus to the more popular mobile platforms like the Quest and Pico headsets. Unfortunately, it seems like gone are the days of well-known developers focusing on PC HMDs, but that doesn't mean we haven't gotten some gems that only released for VR's most powerful platform. And of course, in addition to the handful of titles that showcase just how good PCVR can look and feel, we also got many that released for other headsets but are just best played on a decent gaming rig. And so with that, Ryan and I present to you the VR Grid's top 15 PC VR games of 2022. But quickly before we get into it, if you guys like this video, please give it a like, and if you're not already, please consider subscribing for more VR content in 2023. And one last thing, if you want to know what our top Quest and PSVR games were of 2022, you will find those videos on the channel as well for your viewing pleasure. Let's start with a few honorable mentions that just didn't make our list for one reason or another. First up is Warplane's Battle Over Pacific, a visually impressive and fun simcade flying game that takes place during the World War II era of flight. It plays great and is certainly a step up from the Quest version, but it's simply not finished and still in early access, keeping it off this year's list. So maybe next year. Townsman VR combines elements of a god game simulation and classic building game with the interactive possibilities of VR controls, and it looks awesome. Unfortunately, this was one of the few good titles that we just never got around to playing, so we couldn't very well put it on our list. Definitely though, a title on our short list to play over the holidays. Blacktop Hoops is a streetball-inspired multiplayer VR basketball game with a ton of potential. Players can chain together flashy dribble tricks, shots, and high-flying dunks to finish off opponents around the globe in epic games of VR basketball. Looking to us to find a balance between real basketball and NBA Jam, VR Blacktop Hoops is one to keep an eye on. Still in early access, it already plays great, but it just lacks content. Another early access title, Veil VR, is a virtual reality multiplayer competitive shooter that emphasizes tactical gunplay, high caliber combat, and collaborative teamwork. Veil already has a strong following and is a killer game as it stands, but it's not finished, meaning it might make next year's list. And finally, Cave Digger 2. A huge step up from the first title in the series, Cave Digger 2 puts you in the boots of a prospector who begins their adventure in a seemingly abandoned camp with the goal to extract valuables from the caves to trade them for new tools, upgrades, and locations in order to advance their frontier exploration and unveil secrets of the valley. With up to 4 players co-op, we love this game, and it could have easily made our top 15, but something had to give, so here we are. Cave Digger 2, our top honorable mention of 2022. As a racing sim fan, I've been begging Codemasters to take the F1 franchise into VR. And while I wouldn't say that they hit the highs that they did with the Dirt Rally franchise, in 2022, we did finally get the full F1 22 game in glorious VR. This requires a beefy rig, but if you have the PC, you would be hard pressed to find a bigger VR rush this year.
This is a physics puzzler that has you playing as a giant squid, or octopus, I'm not sure, who must use his size and strength to not only help the townsfolk with their problems, but unravel the mysteries surrounding your own existence. Like any physics-based puzzler, things get crazy, but should the lengthy campaign not be enough for you, there's a sandbox mode as well. It's a great title to show off to more casual players new to VR.
Many have befriended the creature. Friendship, it seems, is possible even between the most unlikely of organisms.
Beanstalker's been around for a while, and got the full release this year, including co-op multiplayer, making this one of the most in-depth looter shooters out there. The task is simple: get to the top of the beanstalk. However, the higher you go, the more dangers and loot you'll find. With procedurally generated maps, and all those unlockables to find, there is always a reason to return to Beanstalker.
I must plan carefully and calculate my every move as I try to reach new heights.
Lawn seemed to come out of nowhere this year, but brought with it a visually impressive title that looked to take on Half-Life Alyx by offering a similar style of gameplay, but with a movement system more in line with Bone Lab and an actual physics-based melee combat system, both areas Alyx lacked in. Now, no, this is not in the same league as Half-Life Alyx, but developed by only a few people, it was actually one of my favorite PC-only titles this year, offering an experience simply not possible on standalone VR. And with already a few patches under its belt, it might creep even higher on this list as time goes on.
Mona, where are you? Wake up.
True, Hitman 3 for PC was a bit disappointing, with IO Interactive phoning it in a little bit, looking to simply port over the PSVR version with little visual improvements and a half-assed attempt at two-handed motion controls. However, it's still Hitman 3 plus Hitman 1 and 2 all in VR, and that's pretty amazing. It's not all it could have been, and that sucks, but the PSVR version was already a decent looking title, and cranking up the super sampling here on PC does help take it to the next level visually, guaranteeing it a spot on this year's list. Part arcade flyer, part sim, but all Pilot Wings in VR, Ultra Wings 2 took everything we loved from the first title and cranked it up a notch with the inclusion of dogfighting, larger islands, and more mission variety. Designed first for PC and then scaled down for Quest 2, Ultra Wings 2 really shines here on PC with higher world detail and a vastly improved lighting system that makes the PC version our version of choice.
If you enjoyed Among Us Flat, there's no way you won't enjoy the VR version, as it's basically better in every way. Whether you're a crewmate or an imposter, performing your various tasks while trying to suss out who the killers are, no two games are ever the same, making this one of the most entertaining social VR games I've played in a long time. Stress Level Zero's follow-up to Boneworks, Bone Lab is a sandbox shooter in a way, but still has a very lengthy campaign that gets very bizarre, but is crazy entertaining. Factor in the sandbox mode, the wackiness of their physics engine, and an incredibly active mod community, and outside of that core campaign is endless hours of content.
With shades of Population 1 and Zelda Breath of the Wild, Zenith the Last City is a VR gamer MMO dream come to life and best played on PC. A game that just keeps growing and adding content, Zenith offers gamers a massive world to fly, craft, climb, fight, and explore. It's fun alone, but much better with a bunch of friends, and with crossplay across the Quest and PSVR, it's a great chance to make some.
Straight up, no other game in VR looks as good as this game does. There are currently only 4 maps to race through, and the racing is pretty damn fun. What makes this so special is just how real the visuals are. Each of those 4 environments looks hyper real, and I spent hours in here just exploring every nook and cranny and just being amazed at the fact that VR is capable of these types of visuals. With more content and modes coming soon, Kayak VR Mirage is a great game now, and it's only going to get better.
Wanderer was a huge surprise this year, offering a level of visual quality that reminded us just how good VR can be outside of mobile VR headsets. A puzzle adventure title, Wanderer took us through time and literally space, globetrotting as we went and exploring till our heart's desire. This is must-play VR, guys, and truly a gem of 2022. As a huge survival game fan, there simply aren't enough of them in VR. Fortunately, 2022 saw the PC get one of the best in the port of Green Hell to VR. Built from the ground up for VR and separately from the Quest version, Green Hell VR is a survival game for those who love survival games, and a much prettier version than the Quest version if you have the rig to run it. Keeping yourself alive in Green Hell means surviving the jungle elements, wildlife, watching what you eat, and watching who eats you.
I loves me a good clone-like puzzler, and The Last Clockwinder delivers on all that subgenre goodness. Creating robotic clones of yourself who mimic your actions, and having them work in tandem is absolutely enthralling, and when you finally figure out solutions to some of these puzzles, it's absolutely mesmerizing. Throw in an emotional pseudo-sci-fi story, and you get one of the best puzzlers ever released in VR.
The clock tower needs its clockwinder, But the Clockwinder is only a person. And people make mistakes. So I've made a decision. I will be the last Clockwinder.
If you played Red Matter, you know what to expect here, except it's bigger and better in every single way. Not only are all these space station puzzles back, but they come in even more variety across a few different locales. Throw in some shooting and stealth mechanics, and an absolutely bizarre story that continues from the first, and you get one of the most engaging games ever made for VR. If you love sci-fi mysteries, you'll love Red Matter 2.
I can't control it. Sasha? Sasha? Do you read me?
I fell in love with Quill in the first Moss game, and I think I fell in love with her again in Moss Book 2. The absolutely gorgeous 6-hour campaign takes you through this very post-apocalyptic world, and damn near every single moment in here is stunning. Quill has more weapons and abilities, as do you, and all of them will be needed to stop all the threats that get in her way. When people think VR, they don't think third-person action, but they should, because Moss Book 2 shows you just how good that can work.
And guys, that's it from us. Please fire down in the comments below. Let us know what your list would be this year. Let us know if we've forgotten anything. And also tell us what you're looking forward to on PCVR coming in 2023. As always, we'll catch you on our next video.